What's up, Mayur? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, and if you are joining us on YouTube, Workplace, EXP World, watching this on recording, we appreciate your time. My name is John Pugh. This is my partner, Mayur Thakarar. We are the #1 agent attraction coaches within EXP. Agent attraction is our passion, and we're so excited to be a part of Wealth Wednesday today, Agent Attraction Business Plan. I was honored to be recognized as one of EXP's Instructors of the Year, and I've done a few of these level ups. I was most recently recognized as Humanitarian of the Year, and Mayur was an OP, an operating principal of another franchise. He's built a group. Mayur, how many agents are within your agent attraction group now?
As of today, 756.
756. I'm the number 89 agent influencer attractor in the company. So we're excited to pour into you and share with you. Today, we're going to lay some foundational elements. Mayur, we're going to be talking about their big why today. How important is having a concrete big why if you want to pursue something like agent attraction?
It's the most important thing. We actually had a great coaching call yesterday with somebody who was thinking about joining, and they didn't have a big why. And so they didn't have enough desire to build anything big or really, change their life or anybody else's life. And so we struggle to help agents find out what their big why is. And for many of them, it's family, it's generational wealth, but sometimes it's other things. And that's what we want to get to. We want to find out what people's passions are and help them to just spend more time doing the things that they love.
Yeah, our experience is that agent attraction, EXP, production, sales, everything that this company offers has what you need in order to fulfill any vision that you've got. But in order to do that, you've first got to establish that. So let's go ahead and cue up these slides. I want to dive into one thing. So Mayur, you talked about things like my family, right? People often say that. When we ask somebody what their big why is, they often say my family. Why is that not a complete picture, or why is that kind of a cop-out?
If you have a family, then it's a default answer, right? Like, I don't know anybody I've ever met in my life that doesn't have a strong desire to take care of their family's needs. And so that being a default, what beyond taking care of your family is important to you? If you're assuming that you had your family's needs taken care of, and that's what we really want to get to.
What's yours? What are some of yours? Because I find that these are frequently made up of a bunch of smaller whys, right? Yes, our family. What about for your family, right? What do you want to do specifically with your family? Not just like take care of them or pay the basics. Like, do you want to do something special, or are there things outside of that that mean something to you? So, what are some examples in your own life of things that comprise your big why?
I came up with my big why in small pieces. And I looked at my monthly bills and I said, you know what? I don't want to ever have to worry about having to pay my monthly bills. And I broke it down from my car payment to my housing payment to everything combined. And then I figured out, hey, if I can make 2 to 3 times that amount, then I can do what I'm passionate about, which is take my family on really amazing vacations, and really more so just take them on amazing experiences, because experiences will stay with you forever. And that's something that I wanted to do for a very long time.
My big why is comprised of things like that as well. I want to be able to not only go on amazing vacations, but I want to say yes when I'm on them. I don't like to tell my kids no. When we're on a vacation, if they want 7 ice creams, let's have 7 ice creams. They want to fly in first class, let's fly first class. Like, they want to go on that VIP tour or that thing. Like, I want to do that. So yeah, it's about luxury for me, and I'm not ashamed of that. I think a lot of people just, look, I was Humanitarian of the Year and I want to fly first class. Like, there's nothing wrong with having both of those. But I also want to give away a lot of money. I want to be a leader in my community. I want to have time freedom. This is something that doesn't get brought up enough, right? If I don't have a lot of passive income, you taught me this. If I'm making all my money in active income, then I'm not going to have the time to devote to coaching these kids that you see in this picture. This is my flag football team. I coach 3 sports year round. I'm super involved in the community. I'm there at my kids' school. I'm volunteering. I'm on field trips. Like, I want to be able to give my time, and the impact that has had when I walk on campus and everyone's like, Coach John, Coach John. Like, if I was just making money selling houses, I wouldn't have the ability to be present. And my presence is so important and has made such a big impact. And that's been a real difference maker for me. I would encourage you, if you're watching this, get real. Like, put the canned answer aside and be honest with yourself. If it's a Lamborghini that you want, if that's the thing that drives you, then put that down as your big why, right? Mayur, you like fancy stuff. You're not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah. I mean, I like fast cars. I like really big houses, luxury vacations. I like
If
buying nice things.
if that's you, write that down, because this is for you. This is what's going to motivate you to do the things you don't want to do. The difference between people who are just mediocre or failing and the difference between really successful people is really successful people understand how to motivate themselves to do things they don't want to do in order to have things that they desire to have. And so this is the thing that's going to pull you out of bed in the morning. This is the thing that's going to get you to make that uncomfortable phone call, right? So if it's a Lamborghini, put that down. If it's doing good in the community, put that down. But I encourage you to think about what drives and inspires you, because if you can hack how to get yourself to do things that you don't just normally want to do, you will reach an incredible level of performance and execution. Mayur, you taught me this really incredible exercise, and this is where we're going to end on the big why, and then we're going to move on to some of the economic model. 2 conversations. What does that look like? How should someone do this? If we want to do this powerful exercise, what would you encourage them to do?
Yeah, everybody that's watching, I want you guys to do this exercise. I want you to, on a piece of paper, write down 2 different scripts. So the first script is going to be to your family or anybody that you're responsible for. And you're going to write them a script for the end of 2024. So it's December 31st, 2024, just about a year from now. And you're going to tell them that you failed at meeting most of your big goals. So that you didn't hit your income goals, you didn't make the type of money that you wanted. And then I want you to have individual conversations with everybody. I want you to go to your kids. I want you to tell them, hey guys, daddy did not work hard. He didn't make his calls. He did not hit his goals. We are not going to go to, let's say, Disney World or whatever it is that they were hoping to do. Say, we're not going to put you guys in those extra sports. We're not going to buy you those video games. We're not going to get any of the things that you have on your wish list because I just didn't hit my goals. You're going to do the same thing to your wife and your parents and everybody else and all your coworkers, everybody that depends on you. And you're going to just write out that you have failed at everything and what it means to them. Now, you're going to write on the second piece of paper on the same day, December 31st of 2024, you're going to write out a script that says, I hit every single one of my goals this year, and everything that you've wanted to do or get or be with or any of your passions, we're going to do them, and we're going to do them all in spades. Now, John, what happens when we tell people to do this?
Some of them do it, and it's the most powerful exercise they've ever done in their life. Some of them get real, some of them are serious, but most people, they're unwilling to confront this reality. They're unwilling to do this in a real way. Some people just write it out like, I'm just trying to check a box. I just want to do the homework assignment, so I'm just going to make it very surface level. I'm not going to dive into it. And then the few, and I hope this is you if you're watching, the few will go into excruciating detail. Few will take not just a piece of paper, but 2 pieces of paper. A few people will take not 15 minutes, but they'll take an hour, and they'll just be like crying and emotional. And I know this because I've had people read it out loud in front of a crowd. And the breakthroughs that you can have by picturing these 2 scenarios. What I always encourage people to do is before you go to bed at night, I want you to read both of them. But before you go to bed, I want you to read the sad one, the disappointing one first, and the possible one second, the happy one second. And then when you wake up in the morning, because I want you to go to bed with the opportunity of possibility in your mind. I want your brain to be able to take on to that, right? But then when you wake up in the morning, I want you to read the happy one first, and I want you to read the sad one second, because we will run away from pain faster than we will run towards pleasure. And I want that pain of those conversations that you're going to be having with your family to be the thing that inspires you to take that massive action in the morning. Because look, like we said before, agent attraction, like you got to be a top producer, you got to be selling houses, you got to be a community leader, you have to be adding value. Revenue share, agent attraction, this is just a coaching payment that is paid indirectly for the production that is done by agents that you influence through your own giving back to the real estate community. So if you have nothing to give, if you're not a warrior, if you're not a champion, you're not going to be able to succeed at this. And this is a long game, right? This is not, is this quick money, Mayur? Do you just sponsor an agent and get rich tomorrow?
Only if you're Brent Gove. Which
Not
he
even
actually
Bravo.
teaches, to put the pedal to the metal in your first 6 months. But it's not that easy, and it does take time. And you and I have been doing this we're going on our fourth year now. We are not retired. We are still working, but a majority of our income, if not all of it, is through passive income now, and that's amazing. And that's an amazing feeling to know that, whether COVID hits again, or the market goes left or right or up or down, or we're healthy, we're still going to be making a certain amount of money to take care of our family needs.
Yeah, with the two conversations, one thing that struck me was like, at the end of the year, you're maybe not saying like, hey, daddy didn't do whatever, but maybe you're saying like, daddy has to start over. Like, I've been in real estate for 20 years. Every single year, every single year, this time of year, I have to be like, I'm starting over. I have a business. I have past clients. I might get referrals. I probably have listings in the pipeline, but there's no foundation of predictable income with that business. And now going on 4 years with EXP, I don't get to start on square one. I start on square 25. I start on third base because I have a foundation that is predictable for me that I can now build on year after year after year.
I always tell agents the worst thing that could ever happen to you is by getting a commission check. Because as soon as you get a commission check, you're unemployed. And you have to go out and find the very next one again. Speaking of which, John, how is your Rev Share like actually doing? Like, what's your year over year? You said it's predictable.
Yeah, what were the numbers on 160%? I think Chelsea just pulled. My October of this year was 160% greater than my October of last year.
Yep, your rev share is up 160%. When was the last time your agent business, without you spending any more time, energy, or money, when was the last time it went up 160% year over year in a tough market,
I
or
think that
even
was
in a
like
great market?
I think that was like my second year in real estate, and I went from like one sale to two, and that was like where I got, or some, something along those lines. Like, it's hard. The better you get, the better you better get, right? Megan Niles is an agent I attracted, and she went from 2 sales to 17 sales in her first year at EXP. 2 sales prior brokerage, 17 sales at EXP. That's 950% increase. Hard to put that on, the next year she like doubled her business, right? Like, it's hard to continue to have those types of gains. But the compounding nature of this, and let's get into the math. This compounding nature really allows for that. So we use $500 per person per year in our group. Is that realistic? Is that something that we've tracked across a large scale?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a little bit higher, but a very conservative number for us and our agents that we work with is about 500 per agent per year. It doesn't matter which level they're in.
Now, we use that number in order to back out our goals. So if we say we want to make $50,000 in agent attraction, then we're able to use that number to figure out how many agents we need to attract into our organization. We use it to predict, to predict all the different things that we have to do, right? We want to take a big picture goal 5 years out, and then we want to chunk it down on where we're going to be in 3 years, in 2 years, in 1 year. And then we have our daily activities. So the economic model is the numbers that you must hit in order to achieve whatever your goal is. And your goal doesn't just have to be monetary. It doesn't just have to be, oh, I want to make a certain amount of money per month in 3 years. It can be, I want to live a certain lifestyle at that time, or I want to do a certain amount of good in the world, and this is what it's going to cost me. And then once you put a cost to it, you can break it down and you can put it all the way to the leading activities, right? And what are the leading activities that you need to do in order to have this result in the long run?
So you need to have appointments. This is just like your sales business, as if you're selling cars. It all boils down to appointments. And
And
so
so
you get,
so we can track, right? We can track the number of appointments needed all the way through the process, and that's what we're going to help people break down, right?
yep, exactly. And we've come up with kind of a ratio, having done this for many, many years. It takes about 4 appointments to get one hire. And so if your goal is to make $50,000 a year in passive income, well, the easiest way to do would be to divide that by 500 per agent per year. and that would tell you the total number of agents that you need. And now that you know the total number of agents you need, you can figure out how many appointments you need in order to get that number of agents in your group.
Yeah. And now let's say we've got $500 per person. We need to also unlock our levels, right? So we have to sponsor a certain number of agents to create FLQAs, right? Frontline qualifying agents. And then we need the group to grow. And the most important component to that is what? It's time, right?
Yep. Time and duplication.
Now, why is the, speaking of duplication, I have this 6% monthly growth rate. Why is that important?
If you have your group grow by 6% a month or more, it'll double every single 12 months.
And if it was like 8%, it might double twice in a year, right? And if it was like 10%. So by tracking your monthly growth rate, you're able to figure out how many times it's going to compound. And that's like the penny that doubles every single day. It's going to be a small amount of money for the first week or two, but by the end of a 30 or 40-day period, it's going to become millions of dollars. The compound effect is very powerful. So you will need to use this breakdown to figure out your own numbers. What was your rev share in the last 12 months or the last 3 months? If you don't have it, then reach out to us. Like hit us up on Workplace, hit us up on Instagram. More than happy to help you guys break down your own numbers or come up with some estimations based on our experience. And we love to give back to people. So if there's anybody who wants to take this super seriously or dive into more, hit us up. We're going to be doing this over the next couple weeks. We got 4 parts on this. You want to know how much you're making per agent over those periods. You want to understand what would it be if you unlocked a level or 2 or more. Some people, I know people with a group of 1,000, 2,000 that only have like 1 level unlocked. You know, there's a lot of money that's being left on the table for each of those levels if they just unlocked a little bit more. And then not only do you need to understand your growth rate, but if you have a group, like what is your attrition rate? What's the average attrition in real estate? Because it's really just like a real estate brokerage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 30%.
30%. And so those are people who leave the business, retire, unfortunately pass away. There's so many things that can contribute to somebody, leaving your organization. And that's just part of the math. And if you understand the math, then you can treat this like a business. And if you treat this like a business, it will pay you like a business. And that's where the work and the activity and the, we reinvest money, right? We're going to talk about a budget model. We're going to talk about an organization model in future episodes. That's where that all comes into play. So here's what you talked about with those appointments. These are the key metrics that you're going to want to track. And if you don't start tracking these now, it's going to be a lot harder to build a predictable business in the long run. We want to track our conversations to appointments. So how many people do I need to speak to in order to get somebody to show up to an event? Online or in person, right? Mayur, how many people do you think you need to invite or speak to in order to get somebody to attend something? Because EXP is very experiential, right? Isn't it easier if they experience it rather than hear about it?
Absolutely. And we've got a ton of great EXP events. You have shareholders, you have EXPCon. Recently, they just did all of the regional events, which was kind of like a preview or a window into the company. You've got your own local events that you can throw, lunch and learns, online events. I would say for an in-person event, if somebody's local, you need to invite probably 4 to 5 agents in order to get one to come. If it's something that's online, you're probably going to need to double that and invite maybe 10 or 12 agents to get one to show up.
But know your own numbers, right? How many conversations do you have to have? How many connections do you have to get somebody to agree to a business consultation, to a 3-way call with one of your partners or a friend who can help them explore their business, right? And how many conversations do you need to get somebody to meet one-on-one with you? So those are some important metrics to track. Also, how many appointments do you need before you get an onboarding, right? You mentioned a 4-to-1 ratio. So if you're talking to multi-billion-dollar brokerages, you may need a few more. You may need 10 or 20 appointments to get one of those to join, or you might shoot 100%. You never know. If you're talking to a brand new agent, that ratio might go up, right? But just know that depending on the people you're talking to, that's going to have a big impact on the long-term success of your group. The more productive people are, the more influential people are, maybe the more appointments you need to get a fully onboarded agent, but the more influence they will have and the bigger impact that'll have on your group over time. And then not all agents who join onboarding status make it fully active. Is that right, Mayur? Sometimes agents start the process and they don't get across the finish line. What happens there?
Yeah, and so we have a stage called in process. That's when somebody has filled out the application and they're getting ready to move their license over and fully on board. And then life throws them a curveball. Their broker calls them and says, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a higher split. Or they have a pending listing or something in escrow, or there's a medical necessity. There's a million different reasons why they don't. And so you need to have a large number of people that are always in process moving over to actually get people to move over.
This is like a listing that you sign that never makes it on the market for some reason, right? These things happen. And if you don't track for that fallout, it can actually become a big part of your business. And then not all that properties we list, right? Not all the agents who come over end up selling houses. And so if they don't sell houses, we don't get paid. If they don't sell houses, they don't become an FLQA. So we've got to track like the listings that we take that don't end up going under contract. And then really the goal of this, right, is to bring people on that are excited and passionate about the company and tell their friends and grow your organization through duplication, which is what you meant. The goal of this is not to recruit 1,000 agents, right, Mayur? Like that would not be fun.
Absolutely not.
The goal of this is to find 10 or 20 amazing agents who with influence, who are inspired, who love this company and create an amazing success story. And then they become builders for you, right? They participate in agent attraction. They share their story and it turns into something incredible. And so those are kind of the key metrics that I would track if I were you. And I think that's about as much as we need to cover today. So Mayur, before we close this out, what do you want people to take away from today's call? And what are you excited about for future calls?
I just want people to really understand the power of revenue share. You could literally attract one agent a month for the next 1 or 2 years. And that could turn into 1 to 5x your monthly expenses, no matter where you live in the United States. And to attract one agent a month, you would need to do about 4 appointments, which is 1 appointment a week. Is there anything easier in your life that you could do for less than an hour a week that could change your family's financial future forever? I haven't found it yet.
I'd love to get the 88% of agents who don't participate at all to just put it out there, to just put it on their schedule. Don't make this your job, but make it a part of your business plan for 2024 because you deserve it. And this will allow you to not start over again this time next year. So we're going to teach you as much as we can over the next 4 weeks and hopefully far into the future. Thank you again for coming today. I hope you will put agent attraction on your 2024 business plan. And please reach out to us if you have questions in the meantime. We'll be back again next week with part 2. We're going to be diving into more of the models and systems that you can use to create a predictable stream of income to add to your already successful agent business. Thanks again, Mayur. I appreciate you being here. And thanks eXp University for having us.